Call the meeting to order, please. First order is a Pledge of Allegiance, and if you remain standing, the invocation will be given by Sherry Mead of Pray Lowell.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we thank you for the Thanksgiving holidays and for the opportunity and privilege to be grateful and thankful for all the abundant blessings that you have given us by way of families and friends, food and shelter, and many other blessings. Thank you. And Father, tonight as we meet, help us to remember that you are Lord over Lowell, because you say in your word that the earth is yours and the fullness thereof. And I pray too, Lord, as we remember the scripture that says that we are to, as much as is possible, to live peaceably with all men. And so tonight, Father, I pray if it become necessary for disagreement among the council members, that you would remind us, Lord, that we are to disagree in an agreeable fashion and with courtesy and in love, in honor to you. And so, Father, I pray a blessing upon each and every one of these members tonight and upon our mayor. And I ask you, Father, to bless them individually and their families, especially during this holiday season. In Jesus' name I pray it. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Kamala Lamons.
Here.
Jerry Foley.
Here.
Eric Shine.
Here.
Darren Brock.
Here.
Keith Williams.
Here.
Carol Harmon.
Here.
Marty Latham.
Here.
Paula Allred.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes the Lowell City Council minutes, regular meeting November 6, 2007, and the financial statement for October 2007. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Keith Williams.
Yes.
Kamala Lamons.
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
Carol Harmon.
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion at this time to amend the agenda by adding item number 1, approval of return of the bus to Ozark Regional Transit per request of the director, Phil Humphrey. Second item is a declaration that itemized guns are surplus and to be sold or exchanged per request of Chief Landers.
Move to amend the agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
Carol Harmon.
Yes.
Keith Williams.
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes.
Kamala Lamons.
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Darren Brock.
Yes.
Marty Latham.
Yes.
Next item, public forum. Guy Shoemaker.
Guy Shoemaker, 315 Center Drive, Lowell. Mr. Mayor, I'm kind of shocked. I got that tape from the radio station and gave to you, and our city council members are not interested in the city of Lowell. The only one that called me was Carol Harmon. Wouldn't know about it. I don't know if the others, their full-time jobs has anything to do with it, and this is just a part-time job where they can rack up $125 an hour. But I think it's a shame. The other thing is that bond. I wonder if any of you have ever done any research on it. It was supposed to have brought in 250 jobs into the city of Lowell. 250 under Act 9. Now, I was told if I wanted to, I could push the issue with the Attorney General. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, Mayor. I figure these people here, they really don't know what they're doing. Because the city of Lowell issued those bonds, not the Arkansas Democrat. The city of Lowell is responsible for it. Has the city of Lowell ever got a financial report on the status of those bonds? I doubt it very much, Mayor. And I don't think you'll ever find one. And the other thing is, when it comes time for the budget, I'd like to have 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Eric Hauserman. Okay. Next item are committee reports, park, recreation, and special events.
We met on Monday, and Sean is going to go ahead and get some new information in the newsletter. There's going to be some changes where a $75 deposit is going to be required for use of facilities, providing it is a private function. That will include either the pavilion, ball field, or both. Individuals that place deposits will have their money back, providing trashes and receptacles and the facilities are in the same working order as when they left them. There'll be a new charge of $15 per hour or $75 for the entire day for use of pavilion or the ball field. There, of course, will be no fee if it's a school activity or Rogers Activity Center. If the individual wants to use the ball field as well as the park, it'll be a $20 per hour charge. We're asking that they sign and pay prior to the Wednesday before their event at City Hall. Sean's going to make sure that we have info windows at the park so that it posts what the upcoming events are. And by springtime, Ryan should have the calendar online so individuals interested in the schedule can view that online. Tournament fees, since a lot of these people that come in and do tournaments do make a pretty good sum of money, there's going to be a tournament fee of $250 per day. And then as far as at the new Wardnale Park, again, if it's a private individual wanting to come in and utilize practice fields, there'll be a flat $15 fee. And again, that will have to be reserved at City Hall in advance the Wednesday before.
Thank you, Paula. Streets and sidewalks, utilities, ordinance committee, personnel, finance. Next item on the agenda is old business. We have as our guest tonight Beth Stevens and Raymond Burns from the Rogers Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's good to see you again. I'm going to ask Raymond Burns to join me. He claims to be the beauty in our operation, but I think he's also the brains, so I know he'll want to say a few words to you. I have to tell you that we're very excited that you placed your faith in us earlier this year and said that you were ready to move forward with economic development and that you believe the city of Lowell is ready for economic development. We believe that as well, and over the last few months I've had the pleasure of getting to know each of you a little bit better as we begin what will be a long process and a long partnership towards some exciting accomplishments here. I'm going to ask Raymond to speak to you as well, and then we'd like to introduce to you our new hire for economic development here in Lowell. Thanks.
Beth, I think you got that backwards, but that's all right. Mayor and members of the council, we're really pleased tonight to be able to tell you how much progress that we made just in the past few weeks in terms of our venture into Lowell. We are in the process now of renovating some office space in the Transplace building, and we're very excited about that and should have something open in the way of an office with some meeting space right after the first of the year. We'll plan an opening as soon as we know that all the furniture is going to be in place and the phones work and the signs are up and all that. This is a really exciting time. I've had the opportunity to speak with several of you and with several members of the press over the past few days about this venture. And it's the right time. There's a lot of things that are coming together in your planning department with the infrastructure, with the 5-year plan, with everything that the mayor and his administration is doing. It's time to do some economic development, and it's time that Lowell be on the map more than it has been in the past. And we're ready to go forward with this, and I just wanted to add my thanks to the faith that you all are putting in us to help and partner with you all with this venture. We've been in a partnership with the city of Rogers for the last 30 years, and it's been a really good partnership. We've seen a lot of fruit come from that partnership. And while we won't have results on the first day, certainly we hope this will be the beginning of a real long partnership, and we will see some results, and we'll see some things that you all will be proud of. And together, I hope we can make Lowell grow even more than it's already grown. With that, we have found an individual that we have a lot of faith in who has experience working with city government, has a lot of good people experience, and we're real pleased this evening to introduce to you all Larry Eaton. Larry started Monday, Larry? Good. Yes, sir. Come on up here, Larry. And he's already been making the rounds here in Lowell, and he barely got his computer turned on for the first time this morning, but you'll be seeing a lot of him. He'll be based out of here, and will, as far as we're concerned, will be Mr. Lowell. And Larry, if you'd like to make any comments, we'd like to give you that opportunity.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to work for you all, and look forward to getting to know each of you. I think my first order of business will be getting to know you, setting a time to talk with you and see what your desires are for the city of Lowell. I grew up in this area. I have watched Lowell for a long time, and I appreciate what's going on here, and I'm excited about the opportunity to be a part of seeing something happen here and something move Lowell forward and develop an image that will make Lowell be a place that people will want to come, and they'll want to put their businesses here, want to put their industries here, and want to live here. And I just look forward to all that we can do together to do that. And I'm not a one-man show. I need lots of assistance. I believe that many counselors make the wisest people. So I will look forward to hearing from all of you and working with all of you. And I think we'll see a lot of things happen in Lowell. I know Lowell is already starting to see things happen. I think it's been improving, and I just look forward to the next several years when we're all working together to see where we can go with it. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Raymond and Beth. Next item on the agenda is a resolution adopting the 2008 budget for the city of Lowell. Guy, did you want to talk, Guy?
I just got to hand out some things.
Yes, sir, Mayor. My question on the city budget, there's a couple. Number one, when you was elected mayor, you held a public information session on the budget. This year you didn't hold none. Is there any reason why you didn't?
Not that I can think of, Guy.
Well, I think it'd probably be appropriate. Now, I got a couple telephone calls. Number one is I was told that we hired Sean Ingram at $40,000, which is $10,000 over the person before him. Is that correct?
That's not a reasonable comparison, Guy.
Okay. And the other thing is that he's scheduled for a 9.5% pay raise this year. The man hasn't been to work for the city for a year. I personally feel every place I've ever been, you don't get a pay raise until you're on the job a year. I know the cities do things different. They keep telling me, Guy, OIA, only in Arkansas. So it kind of blows my mind. And I would like to see a public session on the budget if it's not too inconvenient for you. Thank you.
We had a work session for the council that was announced in the newspaper and open to the public.
It was council, not the public.
It was the council, but it was open to the public. It was announced in the newspaper.
I know it, but no, not that I'm aware of neither. I don't think it was ever announced in the newspaper. It was announced. It was announced in one of the council sessions, I will admit. But that night, my fountain pen ran out of ink. And I think it's no more than fair that the people in the city of Lowell get a chance to look at that budget to see how the money is being spent, because I think you're doing a damn good job. If I didn't, I'd be on you like flies on doo-doo, as you're well aware of.
Thank you, Guy. Eric?
To carry on where Mr. Schumacher left off, it says this is a public meeting on the budget during the month of November. The city shall conduct at least one public meeting regarding the needs of the city of Lowell. Data collected at the meeting will be compiled for consideration during budget development. Copies will be made available to council members, and after November 1, draft copies of the proposed budget will be available to the public at the administration building. As I understand it, we have got 4 amendments to the original budget ordinance that was passed in March or September 2000. Was amended a 3 times and all. And in doing my due diligence, I was looking to see had all the ordinances been published reference this budget process. As I understand it and have been told, they have not been able to find a publication of Ordinance 651 at this time. This is the ordinance that has to do with some changes to the budget process and also to the amount of reserves that we are required to have. It is my opinion that Ordinance 659, which follows 651, is null and void. That's the one that says that you have to have 2 months or 1/6 of the balance of the budgeted receipts in the previous year on that. And the other thing is that there is an Attorney General opinion on that which says that if it is not published, that it is then null and void. That ordinance, I know 651 is null and void in my thing, which makes it that we need to go back and look at our budget and how much we're going to put in reserves and things like that. It's a different formula and things like that on that.
Thank you, Eric.
Is there a time limit for these?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mary?
Did you all understand the changes that were made that I gave you tonight?
Could you describe them briefly, please?
The fire department erroneously left out $2,500 that they wanted to add into their supplies. Code enforcement, there wasn't any extra money added into that. It was just moving some money around between travel and training. Street department building won't be completed in '07, so we moved some money over to '08. Took it out of '07, put it over into '08 for the completion of the street department building. Those were the changes that I brought to you tonight.
Anyone have any questions?
How long ago were these changes made?
The fire department was made today. The code enforcement was made today. And the street department was made the end of last week.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of the budget.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can we have some discussion on this?
Need a motion on the table?
Yes. I asked for questions.
Well, I have several questions.
Okay.
I just don't believe this budget is ready to be passed with everyone around us doing cutbacks, and I don't know where Lowell has found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow to fill in. In fact, in one of our...
Point of order. Don't we need a motion on the table to have a discussion? Parliamentarian.
Well, we were at a point where the item itself was being presented by staff. And typically you would ask questions of staff that sort of pertain to the budget itself, the thing, the item. But to discuss the passage or non-passage of it, that's when you want to have a motion on the floor. So there's a little bit of a distinction between, discussion and information gathering. But y'all can, figure that out. If you want to have a motion first, go ahead and formally have a motion. But I would expect you to expect staff to stay up here during that discussion also, because you may still have questions for staff at that point. So I think it might be cleaner, Marty, to go ahead and make your motion and get a second, and then have talk about. I think Carol's comment went to, I don't think we should pass this, and that's more of a motion comment. Yeah, that would be sort of discussion on the motion.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve the budget.
Second?
Second.
Carol?
Tom? Now am I allowed to speak?
Oh, absolutely.
And when this is open for discussion?
I think right now y'all are discussing the motion, and I also think it's reasonable to, if you still have questions of staff, I think it's reasonable to do that too. But I'll let y'all figure that out.
That's where I was at. In a meeting that we had with the council members, and that meeting was council members and the utility committee on September 13th. A statement that the mayor had made is the Springdale Puppy Creek project at $80,000 per year for at least 5 years before the project will break even. The mayor listed items which the city is already obligated to pay for the next year. Income is down. So it was stated in September that our income was less than what we had hoped for. With what Don Harkins gives us monthly, the housing and commercial housing is down. We've made $150,000 this year in permits on commercial. Residential's $24,000. I have 3 neighborhoods in 3 suburbs in my neighborhood that are not building homes. The housing market is down. The cost of fuel. If you look at the newspaper, any day you pick up the newspaper, everything is struggling to make it. Economic growth in danger. Springdale Council chopped the budget, $3 million. An area home sales drop, and it lists several, and this is in the morning news, and it lists several counties in the state that are in trouble. The school districts are in trouble. Housing trouble, mortgage companies in problems. Tyson's Food dismissed over 200 people locally. And Arkansas Best Freight, it's also down. That's just to name a few. And then whenever you go to the farm, we have friends that do big farming. And it takes 25 gallons of diesel an hour to run one of those tractors. And whenever you go 10 hours, and that's usually 10 to 12 hours is what these guys usually work, that's $875 a day just to run a tractor. And I know you're thinking, how in the world is that going to affect us? It will. It will trickle down. And whenever the farmer's having a problem and comes March and April when it's time to plant, and they go on strike or can't afford the fuel, it will trickle down to Lowell. Lowell may be the smallest spot in the world, but it will trickle down to us. We're not immune to all of the high prices of the fuel and everything that's going around. You can sit and laugh, you can sit and smirk, whatever you want to do, but let's face the facts, people. It's the way that it is. Our income is down. And as far as giving out merit raises, I think everyone should have a 3% cost of living raise, excluding the mayor, because he said that he was working on his campaign promises. He states that he wasn't working for the salary, that his portion of retirement and health benefits could go to building a reasonable city hall.
Any other comments?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What do you find is fiscally irresponsible about this budget?
I just stated it. The 3% raise is straight across the board, except for the mayor. The mayor's salary was increased from $30,000 to $60,000. That was during last administration. And
that's not true. The previous mayor was making $60,000. She said it was increased.
It was increased during his administration from $30,000 to $60,000.
During the previous mayor's administration.
Bill Biggers increased his salary from $30,000 to $60,000, and the city council approved it. Is that not correct?
That's true. I misunderstood. I apologize.
And Perry's making $60,000, and then plus a 3% raise. I think that's a little more than needs to be right now, because we're struggling. We're struggling. We have an extremely large debt. And it's you and I that's going to have to, and our citizens that we represent are going to have to pay that debt. And it's time to tighten the strings.
Mary, I've got a question. What was the cost of living?
Excuse me?
I didn't know I thought you were finished. I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
Go ahead.
I had a question for Mary. Is it okay?
Cost of living, the government cost of living, I looked it up, I believe it was 4.5.
And we're giving a 3% raise?
Yeah, we give it a 3 for cost of living.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And merit raises for those that have not been there for a full year. And then I also found among the secretaries, I don't think that's what they were called. They were called something else. What are they called, Mary?
Administrative assistant.
Administrative assistants. Those salaries range. There's a large gap between those salaries, and they're all new hires this year.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Marty.
I don't have a question, but since we seem to be in a debate, the question was what was physically irresponsible about this budget. And actually, I find this budget incredibly responsible. If you look back at last year's budget, we're within the same parameters, if I'm looking at the right budget that was amended from the original. That budget last year for 2007 was pared down to the nuts and bolts of operation. This budget is coming in very close. Am I incorrect, Mary?
No, you're right. And
very small amount, not even $40,000 ever what it was last year. Now, something you have to remember too, this budget, everything in it is targeted to do something. Last year's budget was targeted to clean up stuff. So when you look at what's in this budget, it's not any looser than it was last year. In fact, it's probably tighter than it was last year. And the funds that are allocated in here are actually going to be able to accomplish something rather than clean up messes that were already there. So I really feel like this budget is extremely responsible. I feel like our department heads have done a very good job of asking for the minimum. I feel like salary administration is something that the department heads and the mayor need to address, not the council. Is there something else I needed to say? What else was the...
I'd just like to add one more thing to that is that, we are trying to develop Lowell. And we just added on the economic development. If we don't plan to move forward at this point, if we plan on cutting everything, if we plan on not having an efficient form of government and not setting things in place, we don't need to worry about economic development. And if we don't have these things set up, as Marty just stated, the budget is not out of whack. It is not fiscally irresponsible.
I think that you're comparing us to cities that, you said Springdale, Fayetteville, these cities did not go through what our budget went through last year. Our budget really went through that process last year when it was, well, actually the beginning of this year when it was fine-tuned, and we didn't adopt this budget till this year, the 2007. Did we? I don't think we did, yeah. So basically the process that Springdale's going through, we went through already. This is pretty lean. And as far as times are tough around here, yeah, Carol, I realize that times are tough and we are going to have a trickle-down effect. But city government can't stop. And a budget is a plan. If something comes up that takes priority, then we have the authority to amend the budget to accommodate something that might be a more serious order of business. We've been behind the times too, as far as being able to develop. We are finally in a position to be able to do that. But we need to do some of the things in this budget in order to move ahead to be able to do that.
May I speak, please? Anyone objecting to me? I've been with this group of people for several months now. I can honestly say these people are putting out the effort to make this city better. They are a group of team workers. Everybody does their part. For example, in this budget you're looking at tonight, there are 21 major projects, building, street, water, and sewer, in this budget. There's 10 major street improvements. That's the type of thing that's in this budget, and we have the qualified people to stand up to it and get it done. I will put this group of people against anybody's the same size anywhere. I've supervised people all my life. I'm 75 years old, so I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of people. And that's been my livelihood, judging people, doing salary administration, performance evaluation, and so forth. On behalf of the people, I would like to recommend this budget be passed now.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with you and Marty and Eric. I think this is a good budget. I think comparing this, looking at Springdale and Fayetteville, their budget woes, I think that's like comparing apples to oranges. I think this is a different type. I mean, they've got different problems down there. I have no problem with approving this budget, and I'd like to call for a vote.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to table this until we have a public hearing.
There's a motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the floor.
Call the question.
Terminate discussion is call the question. That's how you terminate discussion. No, you call the question to terminate discussion. That's the whole point. I mean, you don't have to pass that motion, but you need to at least second it, and if not, let it die and decide. I mean, you know.
I've called the question, please.
Count that as a second. Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Just to be clear, are we voting on calling the question, or are we voting on the resolution for the budget?
No, we're calling.
Call the question. Yes. Are you seconding that?
Yes.
Then the mayor would call for discussion?
No.
Or, no, I'm sorry, no discussion on call the question. Then the mayor would call for a vote. If that votes, then you just have a vote on the do pass. Is what you have.
Okay, so this vote is voting on whether or not to call the question.
In discussion, in other words.
In discussion and to bring it to a vote.
Well, I'm not clear. Did Eric second Keith's motion to call the question?
Yes,
That's
he did.
all. So you have a roll call on that motion.
I still have a question. What are we voting on? Just to end the discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it?
Just to vote on the resolution that's on the floor. You're voting on whether or not you're going to vote on the resolution now without any more discussion. So go ahead and call the roll.
Roll call, please.
I don't have that ordinance. I think so.
That's the problem.
Roll call, please.
Okay, this is on whether to end debate and vote on the motion, correct? Paula Allred?
Yes.
Carol Harmon?
No.
Keith Williams?
Yes.
Jerry Foley?
Yes.
Kamala Lamons?
Yes.
Eric Shine?
Yes.
Darren Brock?
Yes.
Marty Latham?
Yes.
Now we'll have a roll call adopting on the resolution to adopt the budget for 2008. Roll call, please.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
No.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
This will be resolution number 07-15. See whether the vote was legal or not. Well, there's several.
Which ordinance requires a public hearing to pass the budget?
Well, the statute does.
Which statute is that?
It's,
Do you know or do you
I
not
read
know?
it. Yeah, I read
Can I
it.
see it, please?
It's in the code book. City code book.
Let's take a 10-minute recess.
Thank you, Perry.
Next year we may not see much of it.
I really don't care. I really don't. People know I'm going to win. People expect it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everybody be seated, please.
Summarize that, Mayor. Summarize that little discussion for you. I'm happy to do it. Yeah, I'll summarize the discussion.
I've learned from Mike.
At this time, I'll ask Tom Kicklack to summarize the discussion that went on during the break.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, there is an ordinance from 2000 September of 2000, which sets out a fairly complex set of steps before you can adopt your budget. That has been amended a couple of times. Eric Hauserman was very kind to sort of follow that up, and he talked to me about that. And as he mentioned in his comments, he's not sure that one of the ordinances that amended that ordinance has been published, and therefore there's an argument that it wouldn't be valid. So the amendment never occurred. So let's assume that happened, and let's go back to the original ordinance. I've reviewed that with Eric, and I think he and I agree that one of the things you want to watch out for is this requires a public meeting. It says hearing and meeting in different places almost interchangeably, and you want to have that by November 15th. I think y'all had that. You had a work session. I think you've been discussing the budget. The work session was public, my understanding. I didn't attend it. Sure. My understanding is it was public. And so I think we all agree that's happened. Regardless, this is a public meeting. People can make comments on it. And then what I also do is make sure that I'm comfortable with state law. And you are well ahead of the calendar that is set forth in state law. You have certain requirements, if you recall, because we addressed this last year. This budget must be passed by February the 1st, 2008. That's your deadline, okay? It must be laid before you, the council, by December 1st by the mayor. So we're well in line with state law, and it's being complied with. If you all are comfortable that, it has been available to the public, you had that public meeting, you had your work sessions in public, I think all of your discussions have been in public, then I wouldn't hesitate at all. I'm comfortable that they are, so I wouldn't hesitate to pass it. Do keep in mind that budgets, as Marty mentioned just now, can be changed every single day and twice on Sunday. It's going to get changed, period. If this is still the exact same budget on December 31st of next year, I'll eat my hat. Okay?
Be careful. Are you talking about bottom line?
No. I mean the exact. If there are no changes or adjustments to any line of the budget, it's going to get changed. So So I guess I appreciate the discussion with Eric. Where'd Eric go? I don't see him anymore, as I always do. But I'm very comfortable that y'all are in compliance with state law and your own ordinances. Sir.
Perry, have you had your mayor's forum meeting since we had the budget meeting?
Yes, I have.
Would that not also qualify as a public meeting as well, since the budget was actually gone through in the public, and then there was time set aside for discussion with the mayor?
That's, Eric, there's no real guidance in this old ordinance, which again I think has arguably been already amended out of existence, for what this meeting or hearing or whatever it is looks like. There's no requirement for notification, where, how, or when. It's just that I think the ordinance assumes you all are going to have input from the public. So that's what you want to make yourselves comfortable with, is that you have, and like I said, I'm comfortable with that because I was in this room when y'all announced that meeting that you're going to have, where and when and what it was going to be about. Every document the city has is a public document. We don't have any secret documents except for those which are exempt from the FOI, and the budget's not one of them. So it's been available to anybody who wants to see it in every draft and every form. That's just how it is. So if you all are comfortable, then I certainly am.
Everybody comfortable? Next item on the agenda, approval of I-540 sewer line design contract. Tony Davis.
Good evening. I wrote a memo to the council members dated November 14th. I've kind of bullet pointed the history of the process on how we've came to this point to sign the contract, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from council members?
Mr. Mayor, this is maybe directed toward you. I know there's a lot of land that's going to be affected by this. A lot of property that probably will develop because of this. Do we have a mechanism in effect right now to where, as businesses tie onto the sewer, where they will pay part of the construction for this?
Not at this time, Keith. We're working on it. What's happened since we've started talking about this, there's been 59 acres sold on North Goat Springs Road. Our goal here is to get this design underway because we would like to have this sewer line in place by next May, if at all possible. That's a subject we will be working on. In fact, I think Mary's already started doing some work on that, and I've asked Michael Solomon also, because what we do in that manner, Keith, will affect the development of it. And our goal is to be fair to the taxpayers and fair to the developers. And that we will be.
And I see this as a catalyst to get that development going, so that we can,
yes,
get reimbursed for the expense
right.
that it's taking to build the sewer line. So, yes. I was just curious if we had that mechanism in
We've
place.
started.
Okay,
I will say that. And on the 5-year plan here, this year, I plan to start negotiations with Springdale Water on some of these things. So we're underway, but not full speed yet, Keith. But we'll get there. Right. We'll get there. We've got to get the budget intact and in place and get ready to go. We need to get this design contract approved so they can go ahead and get started.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, where's the 59 acres at?
It's a 40 piece, a 17 acre piece, a 10 acre piece, and a 2.45 acre piece. If you look in your packet,
I was under
they're
the assumption that it was an additional 59 acres that had sold. I do have that map you're speaking of. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to pass the design contract.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is approval of McClellan design contract for the rebuild of East Robinson. Sean Ingram.
What we did, we started with McClellan on the grounds that they were involved with the Robinson extension as it was going to be with the Dixieland build. And it's not going to be built through. And so we've kind of selected with the knowledge that McClellan already had with this project to select them to be our engineer of choice on this. And they came back and basically they started out at about a $48,000 price. And you'll see a new attachment D that I provided you this evening of what we negotiated as of yesterday. So their price will be $38,240.
Sean, you might tell them about the drainage problem that was created by the storage units that we have to address.
One of the issues that we're acting a little more swiftly on in this is the Sweetser development there at the storage units has put an excessive amount of watershed from stormwater into a smaller collector that runs under Robinson, and that's doing two things. It's deteriorating the base of the road, and it's caused hazards, I believe, twice for emergency responses where the water's over the road, and can be a potential problem. So the quicker we can get that design, we'd like to get that out in the case of an emergency, say this spring when the rains pick back up, if we had to take the city staff to put in those box culverts and do a temporary repair.
Is this water from the storage washing out the culverts that are there?
Hey, Sean, I'm just kind of curious. Are they going to have to actually raise the height of the street?
Yes.
It looks like they're going to
It'll actually be a 3-lane collector right there for the turn lane.
Looks like they're going to have to raise it.
Stacking. I'm not sure what the height is. I would guess somewhere probably around 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 3 to 4 feet.
It'll be a gradual taper, then blending it back in on down Robinson to the west.
I know initially, actually, it's been a while since I've looked at it, but when that development came in, there was an issue about the property line actually goes, I believe, to the north of that street. Is that a problem? Because I know that it's not. It doesn't go down the center line. I mean, I think the
center line's moving. We don't have all the defined lines for that yet, but right now there's no problem that's been brought up by McClellan.
Okay.
Keith, the plan is to hold the north side straight with the curb of that corner house at Concord. So the road will move to the north.
Okay.
Any other questions, Darren?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can understand with this paving and building all the storage buildings there, how it's kind of consolidating the rainwater and creating a problem. Do we anticipate the fixing of Robinson to just move that problem farther downstream and us have to fix it again somewhere else?
Well, actually, it would discharge into a flood area. That carries down into that Lynx catch basin.
Okay, so the basin it's headed to is already designed to hold more water than it currently is.
It's just green space at this time.
Two reasons we need to get this done. One of them is the safety aspect, because school buses go down that road and it's flooded a couple times. And another thing, we want to get this thing ready to pave when the asphalt plants open back up in March or April. March.
Which we'll be looking about approximately a March can start construction.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, make a motion we approve the McClellan design contract.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Kamala Lamons.
Yes.
An ordinance adopting the City of Lowell 2007 Master Street Plan and for other purposes. Mike Solomon.
Good evening. I brought the 2006 as well as the revisions we're making in 2007. The copies you have that were attached to the ordinance, the bubbles around there, those are changes we've made to the different roads. There's only 4 changes. We did hold a public hearing on this last month at the Planning Commission meeting. There were no comments from the public. There were some comments from the Planning Commission, but it does come with a do recommend, and there were no votes against. So, just kind of point this out. I don't know. Forgot to grab an easel, so to bear with me. The first one up here is Frisco Crossing. It's probably going to be a while before that's built. We have that as an arterial on the east side of the road. We have changed that to a collector on the west side. And the reason for that is because you start going through some neighborhoods, as well as we don't anticipate the traffic being as heavy after you hit 71B. That's the first change. The second change, if you go down Frisco Crossing, we have it connecting directly in to Old Wire Road. The way it was before is it kind of came south, connected in. We moved it up, and we took out, there was a proposed collector here, and we didn't feel like that would be a necessary road. The last change we made was here on Lincoln Street, right outside. We've asked that this be a local street. The reason for that being with all the city buildings here, we didn't want to have this as being a traffic through area. We didn't see this as being a place where we want to encourage traffic. We do have another proposed local as well on Presidential that would go through, and that should hopefully relieve some of the traffic off McClure.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Pamela Lamons,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
An ordinance adopting the City of Lowell 2007 Master Street Plan and for other purposes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Master Street Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Pamela Lamons,
Yes.
Jerry Foley.
Yes.
This will be ordinance number 818.
Next item on the agenda is appropriation of funds. This is a matching federal AFG grant for fire department for the purchase of personnel protective equipment. Mike Morris.
What this is for, I've had a couple people ask a little bit of question about it. We applied in the spring of this year for a federal grant. They've set aside several $1 million each, actually several $1 billion each year. It's called through Department of Homeland Security, DHS. They have created a grant program called the Assistance to Firefighters Grant, which is what the AFG stands for. It's to provide for the basic needs of each fire department related to safety or operational needs. What we applied for this year is to replace outdated and or damaged protective equipment, for the personal protective equipment for the firefighters. It consists of, those of you who have seen it, it consists of the bunker coat, the bunker pants, the protective boots, and the helmets. The sets run about $2,000 a piece when you go to buy them. We applied in, I said in the spring, we received notification about 2 weeks ago that we had been accepted into their program at a 95.5 matching grant, which is the best you can get. We were classified, I had to argue that we were classified as rural rather than suburban because suburban was 90-10 and we were able to get the rural rating. So we did get approved for that, and I would respectfully request the appropriation for $1,031, which is our 5% of a total grant of $20,628, which is what we were approved for. Would appreciate consideration.
I move to approve the appropriation.
A second.
Roll call, please.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Paula Allred,
Yes.
Pamela Lamons,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Eric Shine.
Yes.
This will be appropriations memo number 05-2007.
Next item on the agenda is approval of to return the bus to Ozark Regional Transit per request of Director Phil Humphrey. Phil?
Well, we can use the bus. If you have no use for it, we'd like to have it back. We donated it for a purpose under the old mayor. I guess it's not being used, and hate to see it go to waste.
Anyone have any questions?
Just kind of curious, why is it that you're coming to us at this point in time?
For the bus? Well, it looks like we've got some other things going on with our organization, other cities, other organizations, and we always use those vehicles. We don't keep a lot of spare ones around.
How did we end up with this bus? It's been in conversation, just briefly. It's been in conversation several times here, and we were going to give it away or do something with it, and I just don't understand how we ended up getting it.
Mayor Biggers asked me for it. We normally take those vehicles and we sell them, and the proceeds from them, we use them for the local match on a new vehicle. Our local match is at 20% of a vehicle. That vehicle new probably costs about $45,000. It normally goes for about $4,000 if you resell it, depending on how many people bidding.
So, what use was we going to use it for? Do you have any idea? Does anybody have any idea?
It's been about 2 years. I really don't remember. I think it was maybe shuttle some people around to pick up trash or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
I entertain a motion to return the bus to Ozark Regional Transit.
I move that we give the bus back.
Second.
Roll call.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Darren Brock.
Yeah.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
If you'll stop by the office, we'll get you the title, Phil. Thank you.
Did you have any other questions on anything?
No. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is declaration that itemized guns are surplus and are to be sold or exchanged per request of Chief Joe Landers. Joe?
Self-explanatory. These are weapons that the police department have compiled over a number of years, and we're just cleaning up the evidence room. If anybody has any questions.
Would you sell these to the public, or would you go to like a gun business and exchange them or sell them to them?
And what we would do, we would go to a gun dealer. That way we know whenever they leave there, they're going to be registered in somebody's name. Also, these weapons are long guns and quality handguns. There were a number of the less expensive handguns that we went ahead and destroyed.
So these are weapons that have been accumulated through the years from various circumstances, not guns that have been possession of the police department, correct?
That's mostly correct. I think we've got 2 shotguns that were actually purchased by the police department like 20 years ago. But the majority of these weapons have been either confiscated on drug raids or taken away from convicted felons who can't possess them, that kind of thing.
How long have these been accumulating?
I know I saw a sticker on one of them all the way back to 2001. And probably even before that, Marty.
Is this customarily the way we get rid of them?
This is the first time that we've ever gotten rid of them. It's commonly done by police departments everywhere around the state. The gun dealer that's looking at these, he just bought 680 guns from West Memphis. Thank goodness we don't have that kind of problem. Yeah. Kind of nice living in Mayberry.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and approve this. I'd like to see this money go to the police.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kamala Lamons,
Yes.
Darren Brock,
Yes.
Jerry Foley,
Yes.
Keith Williams,
Yes.
Eric Shine,
Yes.
Marty Latham,
Yes.
Carol Harmon,
Yes.
Paula Allred.
Yes.
While we're on the subject of Chief Joe Landers, I have a letter here from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, United States Secret Service. Chief Joe Landers, on behalf of the members of the United States Secret Service Little Rock Field Office, I wish to thank you for the outstanding support your department provided during the visit of President George W. Bush to the Northwest Arkansas area on Monday, October 15, 2007. The visit was a tremendous success and demonstrated the professionalism of your organization and its members. I would like to commend you and your staff on a job well done. While I am aware of the significant efforts made by many members of your department, I wish to express my appreciation for the contributions made by Captain Randy Harvey, Lieutenant Tim Cluth, Sergeant Kerry Hedrick, Sergeant John Hicks, Detective Kevin Knight, Corporal Paul Palero, Corporal Kevin Apple, Patrolman Brad Haywood, Walter Renee, Sheen Robinson, and Chris Spangler, and Code Enforcement Officers Billy Boyd and Billy Hensley. Due to the nature of the visit, the assistance provided by your officers greatly enhance our overall security plans. Their dedication has earned the respect and admiration of the Secret Service agents who had the pleasure of working with them. I look forward to our continued friendship and working with you on matters of mutual concern. Sincerely, Brian Marr, Special Agent in Charge. Tom has requested a 5-minute recess. Next item on the agenda is the setting of committee meetings, parks, recreation, special events, streets and sidewalks. I think Joe or Tony, you want to come up and talk about that?
Yes, sir. The city staff is requesting a street and sidewalk committee member, and the items we would like to discuss are actually, this request is coming from the engineering department and the police department. And we would like to have a meeting to discuss speed limits in subdivisions as far as consistency. And it's our understanding that the council can set the speed limits. Right now, we've got subdivisions with 15-mile-an-hour streets, other subdivisions with 20, and sometimes, especially for new officers, it's really kind of hard to get climatized to what subdivision is what because there's different rules in different subdivisions. And we would like to discuss somehow managing some kind of consistency to that, whether it's a certain speed for a collector or a local street, collector street like that. And there'll be exceptions unless otherwise posted, but we'd just like to have the council's or the street committee's thought into that, and then their recommendation to the council for what we come up with.
Thank you, Tony. We'll advise the street committee. I would encourage any of you council members that have any input on this, please let Tony know, because this is kind of a touchy issue that we're trying to address here, and it will involve some changes. So if you all have any thoughts, pass them on to Tony. And if you can make the work session, the street session, come to it too.
When is
Marty?
that scheduled?
Some of the subdivisions have POAs.
Yes.
What we set will override what they set. In other words, if they have 15 miles an hour and we say 20.
Yes, that is correct. These are city streets. We have jurisdiction over our streets. And also, I'd like to, just for a discussion, I would like to discuss truck routes in the city of Lowell also, because I know we have to identify what we want to talk about. So, not that I'm not asking for any action, but I would like that as a discussion point also. So, truck routes and speed limits.
Tony, when is the date on this?
We'll have to set a date. We'll get a hold of the committee, but we will advise the city council and the planning commission of when this meeting will be held. Next committees: personnel, finance, utilities, ordinance. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.